Guys, welcome to a brand new video here, and today we're going to be discussing the roster announcement that just went down today. A big European team that's just been announced. I say European team, it's an international team now though, isn't it? It is going to be Reciprocity announcing their lineup. It's going to be Dens coming in from Mindfreak, Tommy coming in from Vitality, obviously formerly of Splice as well, and they're going to be joining the former Unilad lineup minus Alex, which is Zed, Wuskins, and Shawnee. A fantastic team. Let's get into it quickly, though. I'm not so much going to cover the three Unilad, ex-Unilad boys, of course. Zed, Wuskins, and Shawnee all had fantastic years in their own way. You know, I feel as if Shawnee started a little bit slowly, but got very, very good towards the end of the season, showing what he could do with the bar in World War II. He was one of the best players with that. Wuskins, of course, a fantastic player. I mean, what else is there to say about him? He was good all year long. Zed came in and worked really, really well in a fast SMG role with Alex. Those two seem to work very, very well together, and I'm actually going to cover as to why I think he's going to work well in this team as well. For me, though, on just an outlier's perspective, very, very happy with this roster. Reciprocity have picked up the right team. I think Swizz has done a great job of getting these boys in. I don't know how much work he's actually done, of course, but realistically, a very, very good squad. Excited to see how they do. But let's break it down. I'm going to cover Tommy and Dens a little bit more than anybody. Dens probably most for the most part. We'll talk about Tommy first, though. Tommy, typically, nobody doubts his talent. Fantastic, fantastic player. But for whatever personal reasons or confliction in the Splice team, he ended up leaving that Splice team, or got dropped, actually. And from there, he did manage to make himself onto that Vitality squad for champs, of course, and they did pretty well. So Tommy had, overall, not too bad of a year. 2 second places and did very, very well with that Vitality squad, further than anyone really expected them to go at champs. I look at Tommy, and why I'm happy about him joining this team is the leadership role that he brings. Okay, they didn't really necessarily have that when last year, you know, you don't necessarily look at that team and think they have a born leader in that team, but it seemed to work anyway towards the end of the year with the 4 that they had. But Tommy coming in here brings a lot more experience than anybody else on this team does have. He brings that presence, that leadership ability, as well as obviously a very, very talented player. I think for me as well, at the beginning of seasons, Tommy always seems to come into the beginning of the game very, very hot, which is going to be good for this team. They should be going to Vegas very, very well practiced. It looks like they're actually going out to live in Vegas as well, so that's another big step. The competition that they're going to be able to play against is going to be phenomenal. That practice is going to do them the world of good just before Las Vegas, of course, which is coming up in December. But anyway, back to Tommy. Always tends to have a very, very good start to the year. They had nearly a perfect start when they went to Dallas. Splice managed to come second to TK. Were unfortunate not to do a little bit better. They actually beat Optic, I think, in the winners bracket finals in that game, or sorry, the losers bracket finals in that event. So they did very, very well in Dallas. They also got a second place at Birmingham with Tommy over in the UK. Thrives in the UK crowds, of course, but Tommy, overall, pretty decent year. We obviously seen him have a decent enough time at Vitality as well with 3 youngsters, just showing his leadership capabilities. And I think as a player, he's as talented as any in Europe. I think the leadership capabilities of him as well will work very, very well in this team. Now let's move on to Dens. I'm going to speak on Dens quite a lot because I'm actually going to bring up JP's article that he put out on Reddit, or article post, whatever. And I'll actually link that below. Thank you to JP for all these stats. But I think it just gives even more reasons why Dens has been picked up by this Reciprocity lineup. Okay, so let's just run through them all. The most prevalent ones I seem to pull from what JP said. So in terms of respawn KD, he was tied for first between all flex players in World War II with a 1.11, tied 7th overall. That is a very, very good start to the stats that we're going to go through here. So what, you're going up with people like Gunless, you're actually beating him in terms of KD. Obviously, there's different team makeups and that sort of thing, but already a phenomenal stat line from him in World War II. But realistically, a lot of people will pick these apart and say, well, it's just World War II, but he's been a good player for years, and this is the first time we've really been able to divulge these stats so much. World War II, though, fantastic respawn KD from him, number 1 for all flex players. Maintain a 1.38 rotational KD, so kills on rotation to different hills, of course, and that was number 1 for all flex players, again, and 2nd overall for all players, of course, and in all different roles. So again, his rotational KD, phenomenal. That's going to be super important whenever you come to hardpoint. Of course, these 5v5s now going into it, we don't really know the rules actually, so I'm not going to dive into that too quickly, but it's a very, very standout stat for me. I'm very, very impressed with that from him. He also maintained a 1.08 hardpoint KD overall, which was tied second for all flex players and tied 12th for all players in all roles. So in terms of hardpoint and respawn, a very, very proficient player. Very, very strong slayer. Can do it all. A very, very good player. Moving over to CTF, I'm going to cover this just quickly because I actually don't think CTF is going to be in the rule set. 1.17 across the entire year, which was, again, #1 for all flex players throughout the entire CWL. So a phenomenal achievement there. 5th overall in that respect. A 1.19 S&D KD, which was 5th overall for all CWL players throughout the year. I mean, these are just super impressive stats coming out of his dens. We all know he's a good player, but to put it into this perspective, in terms of slaying ability, a sensational player, very, very smart. That rotational KD shows that. He knows where to pick up the kills. There was also some deeper CTF stats that I actually came across in JP's article as well, to show how good he was when he passes the halfway mark in the CTF, and when he was defending in CTF as well, putting up huge numbers in that respect too. So for me, Dens is one of these players that has always been a very, very good player. We've seen him in that lineup with Shocks. They tended to be the two best players on Mindfreak. Don't want to take anything away from Buzzo and Fighter, but realistically, they were the two standout guys. Shocks, I think, probably would have made a move as well, but he's already said that he wants to concentrate on university and trying to get himself through that, which is, I think, with the laws that there are in Australia, it made sense for him to do that. You have to prioritize your education right now if he needs to. It's a good move for him to do that. I think in the future, he could definitely make the move away from Australia. These two guys have been phenomenal. Now, moving into this team, I think overall, I'm going to have a stab at what I think their roles could be. Dens, you could not give him a flex role, really. He has to be the flex on this team. Of course, how the makeup of teams comes about in Black Ops 4, we will find out in 11 days. Yeah, 11 days time. But for me, I think it's going to be 2 flexes, SMG, 2 flexes, 2 SMGs, and a main AR. So I would say Dens is going to be flex. I would say Wuskins is probably going to be flex. Tommy SMG, Zed SMG, Shawnee AR. Or Wuskins and Tommy might swap SMG flex, whatever. It's all the same for now, and it's all really speculative, as we players don't really know what's going to be the best for the game as of yet. They're going to have plenty of time to practice, of course. The game comes out in 11 days, and the first tournament isn't actually until December. But, I think Den's coming into this team is probably the best free agent pickup that we'll probably see in Europe, because we've seen Red Reserve War already sorted. We knew Bance was coming into that team for a long, long time, but I like how this Reciprocity team have picked Dens away from Australia. He would have been hot property, and I think that says a lot about this organization. It says a lot about this team, and that they mean business this year. Looking at the teams we already know are forming and the teams that are sticking and rumored rosters, I actually would not be surprised to see this team in the top 8, top 6 throughout the year. Do I think they've got potential to win the event? I'm going to have to wait and see until the game comes out. In terms of on-paper roster, it's solid. It's a very, very good team. Do I think they're as good as Red Reserve on paper? At this moment in time, no. But I think we've seen Wuskin just get better and better. We know Tommy can put up the numbers. Zed is getting better and better as a player. They've had great experience. Shawnee was phenomenal towards the end of the year. Dens has never been in a team apart from an Australian team, and an Australian Mindfreak team that never really excelled. They never really hit the dizzy heights of the potential that they maybe did have. So to find him in this lineup, I think we're going to see more from him as well. I'm going to label this as a top 6 team for definite. Will they win an event through the year? They might. They're one of these teams that could slip under the radar of a few people. I think they have the potential. They have bags of it, if anything. I think they could definitely cause damage at these big events. Good luck to Reciprocity. I love this lineup. I love the choice of bringing Dens in. The org seems to want to support them. It looks like they're going to go actually over to Vegas as well to actually live in a team house once they get all their visas sorted, that sort of thing. So I think this team are going to do bits this year. Make sure you watch out for Team Reciprocity. That's going to be it for the video though, guys. If you could please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, that would be great. Go and support the Reciprocity players on Twitter. I'll leave their Twitter below, and I'll also leave JP's article on Dens that he posted to Reddit, I think it was like a month ago or something like that, saying he was a big free agent that somebody should pick up, and I think he was absolutely right. The stats back it up. I'll leave that article as well, because I've used far too many stats to try and claim that they're my own, of course, but JP, great work from him. Check that article out below. As I said, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you can. We'll be back with more videos this week on Roster Mania and a few roster breakdowns as well. Thank you very, very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.